and welcome back to Writing Wednesdays. We're very happy to have you here at the University of Stuttgart Sprachenzentrum. Today we're going to be talking about some of the different levels of feedback and interaction and some of the different steps in your writing process. What's really important to remember is that you want good feedback and you want to give good feedback. One of the best things that you can do is tell the person giving you feedback what type of feedback you're looking for. Are you looking for just some grammatical advice? Are you looking for advice on content? Are you looking for them to help you restructure the whole thing? Are you still basically working out how you feel about your project and you want them to help you think it through? You need to be really specific when you tell somebody what kind of feedback you want. So the feedback process starts at the very, very beginning when you're planning to write, when you're outlining. And this level of feedback is really broad. This is what we'd call probably advising. The type of person that will give you this kind of feedback would be your professor, your classmates, some other type of expert in your field. That's the type of person you want to bounce your ideas off of, give them some general outlines, and you're looking really mostly for advice, not for correction. Once you get into the area of a rough draft, then you might be hoping for some editing help. Editing is where someone might give you ideas of how to restructure, tell you your ideas are going in the wrong direction. You might need to reorganize some sections. They might be able to tell you where to put things, how to make your paragraphs work the way that you want them to work. But this is not where your ideas are developed. Your ideas should already more or less have come into development at this stage. Then you have editing. It's important to remember with your rough draft that a rough draft really should be rough. And part of the reason it's called rough is because it doesn't have a smooth finish. You haven't polished it yet. But it's also called rough because it's difficult to write. Jodi Picoult, who's a famous author, she writes novels, not academic writing, but she says you can edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page. It doesn't make any sense to ask someone to help you edit something that you really haven't developed yet. So make sure you have some ideas on the page first before you ask somebody for help with editing. Next, you have something of a working draft. This is a draft that is already starting to resemble the final product. It should be structured similarly to the final product. It should have some kind of organization to it. And then you kind of get in between proofreading and editing. Proofreading is the very lightest amount of editing. We're looking for misspellings, typos, problems with punctuation, commas, maybe a misconjugated verb, something here and there. But this is the absolute lightest version of editing. This is something that would be appropriate for your native English-speaking friend who's in a different department, who doesn't necessarily understand your thesis work or your article, but can help you with the English part of it quite well. You don't want that person necessarily getting involved here because they're not going to be able to help you with your ideas in your subject area. They're only going to be able to help you really with the language use. And then you get to your final version. This is the version that you have for submission. Now it's important to remember that even people who think they're perfect make mistakes, even your own professors. So a final version always has room for improvement. And that's part of why we have a thesis defense. That's part of why we have referees when we apply to journals to be published or when we apply to conferences. The final version, although we call it final, really isn't ever final. It's a living document until it's fully published, finished, stamped, and put out there. So keep in mind that when you receive feedback, you might have to move a little bit back into the direction of editing. You might have to move even a little bit back into the direction of advising to rework a little bit in which direction your essay is going to go. And that's okay as long as we keep moving in the direction of a final version again. I hope that's helpful. You may not know, but the Uni Stuttgart Sprachenzentrum offers a corrector service for a reasonable fee. If you submit your writing to us, we can give you an estimate on that fee. Or if you would rather use our free services, we have mini courses, we have workshops, we have all kinds of academic writing offers that can help you on this process.